Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel again. My name is Noora. I am an energy healer and a spiritual life coach. Today, I have a very, very interesting guest. Eva, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, Nora. Hi, everyone. I'm Eva. As we just discovered a few minutes ago, I'm a shaman from Vilichka.
Yes, that's great. Yeah.
um,
So, Eva, tell me a little bit about your life. How did you end up doing what you do at the moment, and how did you hear the calling for energy work?
um, for me, it was actually a kind of a life made me situation because I come from the corporate world. And I was pretty much established in there and comfortable, and everything was going smoothly um, until I actually got promoted, and then my body started to give me some signals that I, of course, ignored.
Hmm.
And luckily for me, I got married, and soon after that, pregnant. And we have a pretty long maternity leave in Poland, so I used it all. And when I was alone with my daughter at home, some stuff started coming up. Like, it's not
Hmm.
unusual. Some call it the baby blues.
Hmm.
I'm not claiming it doesn't exist, not to offend anybody. But for me, it was more like fighting myself not to be nasty to my daughter, really.
Hmm. Right, right.
So I myself figured out that I need help. However, of course, psychologist wouldn't work because no, that doesn't work for me. So I tried everything beside that. I started off with TRE and low end energetics and stuff like that. And then when I came into the world of working with your body and I met people and I found all those self-development workshops and stuff. I started working with a coach. I started working with healers also. And more or less then I got to know about the traditional Slavic dolls that really stole my heart, and I started doing them for myself and my friends first, and then it developed a little bit.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the dolls because they are actually super, super interesting. Yes.
Uh, yes, the dolls, the dolls. Um, okay, so imagine actually a doll made of a piece of cloth could make your dream come true. Doesn't that sound appealing?
Yeah, definitely. I wish it was so easy, but yeah. So,
Well, of course, it's a little bit more complicated than that because there are stuff behind it.
yeah.
But from the physical point of view, it is that uh, either you yourself or somebody for you makes a doll that becomes some kind of a totem, a physical representation of your wish that you want to call into reality. And what's tricky is that you can you actually when the doll is called to life, and then you need to give her the order, the wish to come true, and you can only give her one. So the
Mm.
first thing that comes up, it confronts you with what you really want from life, right?
Yeah, you have to
Because
choose wisely.
you need to, yeah, you need to do it wisely, and then it has to be precise
Mm.
because you can tell the doll, I want to find the love of my life, and you still can find the love of your life at the age of 80, but maybe it's not what you actually asked for, right?
Yeah.
And you need to be precise. You need to place it in time. You need to then give something to the doll, a little bribe, so that she actually works for you. And this is something that has double meaning because, well, you pay the doll, but same time you actually give something from you, something valuable to you, to make space for the new to come,
So
right?
it's the law of sacrifice, sacrificing. What is it? It's like it's a
Sacrifice.
universal law that you have to sacrifice something to get something. Yeah, so it's about that. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and then uh, the doll starts to work for you.
Mm.
The work is not actually physical work. The doll doesn't have legs to go somewhere and do stuff for you. But imagine you dream of a house somewhere outside of the civilization, deep in the mountains or in the forest or both. And you then but you actually live in a big city, and then you say, okay, I will buy a flat now.
Mm.
So now, do you here's the doll, here's the here's a mortgage to sign off, and
Yeah.
what is that you really want in life? Do you want to live in the mountains
Yeah.
somewhere outside of civilization, or do you want to live in a big city? So
Exactly.
now, look the doll in the eye and tell her, no, 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 you're off your work.
Yeah. So it's
I don't.
constantly reminding you about
Yeah,
what is your goal, where you are going for, and that's
yeah,
when you start kind of working towards your goal when you have
exactly.
this reminder. Yeah.
And also, what happens sometimes, I had some women come back to me and say, okay, but what if it actually doesn't work? Like, I asked for a house, like an ideal house for me to rent, right? And I saw a couple of houses, and there was always something wrong. And I say, okay, who's the boss, you or the doll? Me. Talk to her.
Yeah. True.
and
Like,
and they were coming back to me and saying, like, you know what? I told her, I told her how frustrating it is, and how disappointed I am, and how I disagree with the situation. And I've got enough, and I want the house now. And then I saw the advertising, and it was the one. Like,
right.
hmm,
Right.
some kind of
Hmm.
purification in the energy, like um, what happens, like if you want to manifest anything, it's actually the matter of decision. And
Yes.
making a decision is easy, but then you need to stick to it,
Yeah,
right?
you have to commit to it. Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to
So,
be very precise of what you want. Like maybe the problem with this customer was that this person wasn't precise about exactly what the house is. So of course the doll or
or
the universe cannot give exactly what they
yeah,
need. Yeah.
or they didn't really believe that there was something stopping. So either you don't really believe, or it's not what you really want, or you know you're afraid of actually making it happen, because then your life will change, and how will it look like? No
Yeah.
one actually knows how your life will look like when the things you really want happens. So
Yeah.
what your subconscious does, it stops you because it
Exactly.
marks the stuff as danger, danger, unknown, danger. Don't
Yeah.
go there.
That is the biggest problem if anyone wants to change their life is that their subconscious mind will stop them from doing it because it is
Hmm.
scary. Even though
Yeah,
even though they would live basically in a hell, that it would be still better because at least it's something they know, that is like they
yeah,
know how it is. And even though they have the beautiful dream of going and changing everything, it's so scary to step out of your comfort zone that you stop doing it. So yeah, that's also what probably happened. Like there was
Mhm.
like conflicting matters behind it. That's very interesting. So what happened in the story of your client after that? So she found the
Well,
perfect house.
yeah, she found a perfect house. She moved in. It was not in the area she was initially looking for,
Yeah.
but all the conditions were perfect. Like it was still the same distance from the city center that she wanted. Uh,
Right.
it had the surroundings that she wanted. Everything was there. Like it was just not the side. It was not the same side of the city she was looking for.
Right. Well, maybe there is a reason why she had to move to that part of the area. Could be.
Could be.
So so basically, so you did in your past, like you were on the maternity leave and you were doing these dolls and helping people in this way.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
Well, I made one for myself, and it was one of the things that I did and didn't work for me
Ooh.
because when I started making the dolls for myself and for my friends and for anybody who had birthday or whatever, I just gave them the dolls and made them believe it. And people started coming up to me like asking for the dolls. So and they were actually willing to pay me. And I was like, oh my god, they are paying me more for the doll, and I do it like within an hour or an hour and a half. They are paying me more than I actually earn within an hour or an hour and a half in the corporate work that I once enjoyed and liked, but now after the year with my daughter and all the stuff that I learned, it's not so comfortable anymore.
Hmm.
And I started thinking about actually setting up a business uh, when dolls were like there. So that was the perfect idea for business. But I was, of course, scared of the unknown.
Hmm.
And I matched some dots on my map. Like, I want to set up a business. I want to do something outside of the corporate world. I don't want to be in the place I am right now anymore. Plus, I wanted more than one child in my life.
Hmm.
So I thought that since the maternity leave is so long in my country, why not use it to
Hmm.
utilize the time with the children at home to actually start doing the business while I still have the security by being paid by my employer,
Yeah.
and so on and so on. So I got pregnant again, like I planned, and the rest of the plan actually didn't go that well
Hmm.
because it turned out that well, there were twins, but there were also problems with the twins,
Hmm.
and that was the time I learned the most actually because uh, the only thing I had in my mind was to fix it.
Right. Hmm.
Like we know it doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
but I wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
So I I learned and practiced on myself, or rather on the kids, because I was, of course, okay, but the
Hmm.
kids were not.
Yeah.
So I practiced on them or had other people practice for me. All the energetical types of work and the healings that I could find. And I also learned myself to do this kind of work. And I did a doll for myself. Like there is a doll that traditionally it was prepared by a young woman when she wanted children, and the doll's name is Mateczka, which is in Polish, matka is mother, and mateczka is like mommy, something.
Oh, yeah. Like a slang word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, just old-fashioned style language. And the doll, it's a similar doll that the one that makes your dreams come true, but it holds a little baby. So I
Hmm.
did one for myself with 2 kids. I was already pregnant, but I gave her the task to bring them safely to the world.
Right.
And yeah, and she was always there. I was doing all the other stuff, and of course it didn't work. And my children were born much earlier, basically because one of them died, so the other
Mm.
one had
Yeah.
to be taken out as well. And yeah, and my daughter Nella is now over 3.5. She spent lots of time in hospital, and she gave me lots of time to actually work on my escape. She actually escaped me from the corporate world because I never came
Right.
back to work.
Right. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I had plenty of time to set up my business. Maybe
Yeah.
not actually the time I wanted, like not the kind of time I wanted, but yeah.
Hmm.
So beware what you wish for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good lesson. Sometimes
Yeah,
things come in a different form than we expect. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But she must have been a great teacher for you.
yeah. She is, and so, and her sister too, because she both of the twins were girls, and I gave them names to
Hmm.
actually know who I'm speaking to, right?
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
did. And Paula, Paula kept and she keeps on coming back to us in most surprising ways.
Yeah.
Like when they were born, in the hospital they were born, a friend of mine who was in hospital with me in one room before it happened, she didn't know I gave birth, and she actually sent me a picture of a picture hanging on a wall in this hospital that she spotted, and there were twins, girls, who were born in the same hospital about 10 or even more, like 11 or 12 years before,
Right.
that were survivors, right? And there were two babies that looked healthy,
Hmm.
uh, and the sign, the writing under the picture was Pola and Nela Czarneckie. So it's
Oh,
like my name nearly.
yeah. It's your last name too.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
Czarnecka Doniec.
whoa.
Like
Oh, wow.
seriously. And
Yeah.
then when Nella was in the natal um, how do we call it? NICU, the unit in hospitals for
Oh, the emergency, like
yeah
the, yeah,
for
I see.
little children. So there was she was in one corner, and in the other corner there was also some Pola.
Mm.
Like even
Oh,
the weight was the same that Pola
oh,
had.
oh, wow.
And then she moved to another hospital, and 2 weeks later, even other Pola came to our room. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
wow.
And they left the hospital on the same day.
Whoa.
And there
Amazing.
were also other things, like recently I got a book. I went to an event, and there was like we were writing our names on a piece of paper for some kind of lottery in the end.
Hmm.
And I got a present from the sponsors. And one of the presents was a book. The title of the book is Paula.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And
So
you know, now,
she's with you all the time, sending you
yeah,
some.
like I now I see some kind of this kind of stuff, and okay, hi.
Yeah.
Anything to say to me?
Yeah. And has she ever come to you in a dream or in your meditation or something? Have you
Uh,
created a connection with her?
I talk to her sometimes, and there was in one of the first months after all this happened, and I kind of tried to settle myself in that. Um, I did something like actually I was consciously, I didn't know what I was doing, but
Mhm.
what I did was deep shamanic work, and this was the like putting pieces of your soul together.
Right. Soul retrieval, no?
Yeah, soul retrieval. But I did it my way, like because I didn't know the process.
Yeah.
Uh, but basically, this was what happened. I didn't go like into the cave and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I went into the state of meditation, and my guides took me to like four places to pick four different, I would say, soul qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And I met different, not persons, because they were not persons. There was a dragon, there was some kind of
Hmm.
eagle, I guess. And
Yeah.
one of them was a horse. And the horse was representing Paula. And
Mm.
she gave me something as well. And when I now think about it, think and feel about it, I actually feel that Paula was never meant to come and be a living, walking child in
Mm.
here. Like, in like when we come to this world, we come in a groups of souls, right? And we have the soul family somewhere, and each soul family has some kind of patron teacher, someone who's like holding the space and making sure you do your tasks when you go
Yes.
down
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and you learn from them. So I think Paula was actually somebody like that,
Yeah. You
some
just
kind of
needed to create
teacher.
the connection, but
Yeah,
you needed to stay in the spiritual world
yeah,
to be around you so that you are aware that she's there.
yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Wow. So after that, what happened? Like, where has your life led you since then? You got a little bit
Well,
time to establish your business. So, what is your business? What are you doing?
uh, well, it didn't happen that quick because I was, of course, getting more and more excuses. Now I had plenty of time, but
Mhm.
I also had to be there for Nella. I had to be there in hospitals with her. Like I never knew what happens, right? How can I
Mhm.
serve my clients if I cannot, if I don't know how she would be in next couple of weeks, and so on and so forth.
Procrastinator inside you. Pro-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, and actually, in the meantime, uh, oh, it was actually when the pandemic came that uh, lots of people moved online with the trainings and things like that. And I actually came across a lady. We were co co-students in one of the courses, and then
Yeah.
I started looking what she's doing with in her business,
Mm.
and she happens to be a shaman.
Right.
And because of the pandemics, she started doing things online. Like she had a series of ceremonies and that you could join and so on. And I liked it. It helped me. Like
Great.
it really balanced me. And I thought like, wow, if I could do that, that would be something.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of months, she said she's actually thinking about opening up some kind of shamanic school,
Mhm.
and she's not sure how it's gonna look like, but let's call it a beta version. And if you feel called, come join me. But you need to come join me live in live events. I'm like,
Yes.
live events, ha ha ha. Me with Nella.
Mhm.
Seriously, like there were some kind of procedures that needed to be done around her, and of course I was the only one who could do that.
Mm.
And and I actually approached her and said, look, I don't want any certificate. um, I know I won't be able to join you live, but if you could just let me in, like, to listen to your teachings, that would mean a lot to me. And she said, no, either you move your ass and come join me here,
Yeah.
or it's not meant for you. And can you imagine that within 3 or 4 days, things moved in the physical in a way that I could actually leave uh, my husband with 2 children for 3 days. And that was my first time in around 3 years that I left home alone for more than 3 hours.
Wow. Yeah, when you really need to do something and when it's on your life path, things
Yeah.
get arranged really quickly. It's amazing. Yeah. Mm.
And in the meantime, when my training took place, it was for a couple of months, of course. It wasn't just one meeting. Uh, in the meantime, Nella was in hospital 3 times. Um, the whole shamanic community of Poland helped me out,
Nice.
uh, like supported really. Um, there was one time when she was actually the last time she was in hospital. It was an emergency case, and she had like 3 surgeries within 2 weeks.
Ooh. Yeah.
And after that, she came out of the hospital in her best shape ever, and she made such a big progress quickly. Like, um, and it's not because there was energetical work done on her, because of course, I called the whole community to help me out. But what I did, I knew she's not gonna accept something she doesn't want. She showed me so many times
Yeah.
before. So, but as a mother of a little child, you also have the right to do anything to make the child be okay, because that's not only your right, that's your responsibility, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I said, okay, there's a whole construction around you. You can use it if you want. And I made people add to that construction
Mm.
this supportive uh, tent around her.
Yeah.
And this time she used it, or maybe she didn't even use it, but she felt that, mommy finally got wiser.
Right. It was about her choices in the end, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
made her also feel empowered. Yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. And it was funny because we started off with the training. We started off in a bigger group, but not all of us made it like to the certification, let's say.
Yeah. Until the end of the course. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and I was one of those who did
Mm.
in the first like term, right? So really, if you want something, if you feel cold, then you will do it. Just let yourself, right? And yeah, there was actually what I learned. I learned lots of stuff. It was actually, for me, it was not about learning how to do things. It was more about putting it not even into system. I actually learned that shamanism is something primal, that
Mm.
and all the things I learned before are like coming from it.
Yeah.
And um, they actually talk about the same, just with different language. And these are all tools. And I was trying to identify myself with a tool.
Mm.
And now I got the freedom to actually mix it all
Nice. Yeah.
the way I felt.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah. And I actually, I now know that the reason I came to that training was one sentence that I actually heard in the very first meeting with the shaman I learned from. And that was, if there's something in your life that is um, so big that is overwhelming you, don't fight it. Just find yourself or make yourself something else that you can grow, and one day you will spot that it grew so much that you don't feel overwhelmed but by the other stuff anymore. And this
Yeah.
is what happens to me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's the whole point why we are on this planet. We are here to grow. And we have these challenges so that they are actually the points when we are forced to grow. Because if
Mm-hmm.
we feel very content and comfortable all the time, we don't do the work. We don't do the inner work.
Yeah,
So life has to kick our asses sometimes. And then it's our job to make the best out of it. Yeah. Really beautiful. Wow. So how about now? You give shamanic healing sessions nowadays.
yes, I give shamanic healing sessions. I organize workshops or individual ceremonies. I also do coaching, which is actually more shamanic coaching because it's also mixed with energetical work. So,
Yeah.
um, I, as we talked before, it works well together.
Yeah, I do similar
But
stuff. I do healing and coaching. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so tell me, for example, this if a customer comes to you, let's say I come to you and I have a problem in my life. I am in a job where I don't want to be and I want to change my job. Like, how would you start working with me? Like, what kind of
Mm-hmm.
sessions would you do, and what would be there? What kind of tools would you use, and so on?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. Well, this depends if you're admitting that you're into the healing world, or you actually kind of either deny it, or you don't, you say, okay, it exists, but for me. Uh, so if you are into the healing, you would
Yes,
probably do regular healing
yes,
um, with a pinch of coaching. if uh, if you're not a believer, then I would do coaching. Like for you, it would look like coaching in the background. It would be also healed.
yeah, great.
Uh,
So let's choose the path that you would do. I would be open for healing and coaching. What would happen?
okay, so we meet in a ceremony where I open the space for you, for your healing. And I work online and offline. If I work offline, I meet people basically in my place. I build an altar for them. I invite them to my office, let's say. um, and of course, we drink cocoa, and it's more, mm, maybe not more, but when you can really touch and smell
Yeah,
and be in it. It's not that it works more or better, because energy works the
always.
same
Mm.
always, but there is something about life events.
Yeah,
Uh, anyway, so you're in a private ceremony. We open up the space for your healing, for your transformation. Then there's space for you to tell your story, like what brought you here, what do you mm, where do you want to be, what do you believe is actually holding you back,
mm.
what's the blocks that you believe are there. uh, Sometimes what really holds you back is what you say is holding
Yeah.
you back, but sometimes it's something totally different.
Yeah, very often it's something totally different. We are not very well aware of
Yeah.
our limitations. Yeah.
And then I work with crystals. Like I let you lay down. So even if we're working online, I would ask you to lay down or sit in a comfortable position, relax, and I do the work. I have then an avatar that I
Mm.
work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I scan your body, and I use crystals to help and strengthen my work. Uh, I do some traditional, like a regular cleaning of what I see is maybe not well. Although I'm not working on more than one area at a time.
Mm.
Like I either focus on the upper chakras, like the upper triangle, or the heart, or the lower chakras.
Yeah.
Um, and then then after I do it, we talk. I tell you what I felt, what I saw, what I did. Uh, some people have also some sensations or visions during that part, and we basically exchange information.
Mm.
Some don't, and that's perfectly fine as well. And based on what I saw, based on what the person experienced, we decide, well, I propose, and they usually say yes
Mhm.
to my idea. Um, there's the part for the shamanic journey, and well, it depends on the person if they want to journey themselves
Right.
or if they want my support or if they don't want to journey and just relax and I do the journey.
Yeah.
So either I lead you, like you hear my voice constantly, and
Mm.
I the rattle or the drum, or I tell you where to go, which part of shamanic world and what to look for, and you go yourself. And
Mm.
I do a journey for you simultaneously as well, or
Mm.
just relax and I do the work.
Right.
And
Right.
then again, we talk. Um,
And just to ask, like, how is this shamanic world? Do you have the same that you have the middle world and the underworld and the upper?
yes. I think it's actually common for all the traditions, right?
Yeah.
Like even in the Slavic mythology,
Yeah.
mythology. I don't know what's the right pronunciation. Sorry, it's the something like the tree of the world, like
Ah,
in
yeah.
the where in the branches there's the upper world, in the roots there's the lower world, whatever is behind below. And the trunk is the middle is the here and now, right? So
Yeah.
in the roots there are your ancestors, there are your past lives, there's all of your past, all your character features, your subconscious, everything that creates you as a human being here and now, like the way
Yes.
you are now.
Yes.
Then the trunk is your present, how you
Mm.
interact, and what's happening in your life. And the upper is the common beliefs, the
Like the up, like the what is it? The greater consciousness and the like
yeah.
consciousness. Yeah. 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 So it's the same kind of division of parts.
Hmm.
Okay, so then you travel, or the customer travels with you to the shamanic world,
Yeah.
the healing. What can they expect there? Like, what usually happens?
Well, that's a shamanic work. Anything could happen.
Oh, that's true.
Before I let somebody travel journey, go to the journey, uh, I tell them that, look, you can experience anything, but you can also have a feeling that you're not experiencing anything, and that's also
Mm.
fine. You can just fall asleep, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, but if you see things, or feel, or know, or hear, because
Mm.
it can
Yeah.
be different for anybody.
Yes.
It can be very realistic and it can look like a movie to you, but you can also not see anything, like only darkness in front of your eyes, but you know that somebody is with you or an animal is with you or something's happening. Like the journey takes around 15 to 20 minutes. I don't do longer because it's longer is just too tiring for some people, and 15-20 is just enough to do your stuff and really to make it happen.
Yeah.
uh, and it's only 15 to 20 minutes, so whatever happens, just let it, even if it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
even if there's an animal that wants to eat you, let it eat you. Probably then uh, you will be like thrown up, or I
Yeah.
don't know, pooped, and you will be a brand new human,
Yeah.
or your arm could be cut off. but then you would get a new arm, stronger,
Mm.
with some
Anything can
kind of,
happen. Yeah.
yeah. So even if some stuff from the past come up that don't feel comfortable, that feel scary, that feel painful,
Yeah.
feel it for the last time. The moment you do, it's actually for your healing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And then a very important thing is that when you come out of the journey, if doesn't matter if you experienced anything or you just fell asleep, it happened, your energy has been tossed
Yes.
and set up new, and it's a fact.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to keep that state
Mm. Yeah.
and to actually look what's new, what's different, or you could, of course, that's your choice, that's your right, stick to what was before,
Mm.
and you could look for things that have not changed or have not changed enough, right?
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, and then usually when we talk after, I ask them what happened and what do you feel is different, like to bring them to this conclusion that there is something different, and most of them say there is. Well, all of them say there is something different. In the
Yeah.
worst case scenario, they feel more relaxed because they just experienced relaxation. Um, but um, yeah, I had people coming like in my very first sessions. One of them was a lady who came to me, and she actually traveled a long distance to come see me in person. And when I asked her what she brought to the table, she said, like, like everything seems okay, but it's okay.
Mm.
It's just okay.
Yeah. It's just
and,
like
and
there is something more, but I don't know what it is. And
yeah,
yeah.
and when when she left, like before she left, she said, like okay, she feels relaxed, she feels more energy, she feels well, basically physically she felt better than when she came in. And then I haven't heard from her for a long time. But after a few months, she wrote to me and she said, "You know what? When I came back home, I sat down and I actually felt like nothing really happened, but I felt different." And she said that her life has not changed since that, like after this couple of months, but the way she sees it and the way she experiences it makes her feel happy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And she thanked me for that. And I was like, okay, some people just need this. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to look at things from a different angle.
Exactly. Yeah. And if we think at least in healing, I also work clearing negative entities. So it
Mhm.
might like what comes into my mind is that probably there was like a negative attachment that made her see the negative stuff all the time, even though her life was basically good and
Mm.
she should have been grateful. But this negative entity was feeding out of her energy, so she couldn't have the gratitude towards what she had. And maybe that entity was cleared in that session, and she started to have her own energy and her own gratitude for seeing things, and then like actually what she had was already good but she couldn't see it before. What do
Mm.
you, could it be something like that?
Well, when I recall the session, we didn't actually. work with, pulling out some entities.
No.
There was rather, there was some clearing in her energy. There was, but it was more on a like subtle levels, really. Like
Hmm.
she needed to just channel the energy right.
Right. Hmm. So maybe some energy block that she couldn't
Yeah,
feel the gratitude. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Cool. Very interesting. So sometimes they can be very subtle, the changes, but they can be like profound, and sometimes people can experience crazy stuff in the underworld
yeah,
where they like are eaten and what reborn and whatever. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. Cool. And how do you like if a person comes to you and wants to work with you, how do you normally work? Like, do you give individual sessions or do you recommend like many sessions that we have to do at least three, or do you recommend like some
Mhm.
coaching and shamanic sessions? Like what kind of packages do you normally offer?
You can mm, you can either come for individual session, individual shamanic healing session. Sometimes one is enough, really. Of course, we can have like a package of three, and because I mentioned that in one session I only focus on one area, not to mix too many things. And then if you come for a packet of three, I would then go
All of them.
area by area. Like, of course, the first one is the one that I see is the most urgent, let's say.
Yeah.
But then we would cover everything. Um, for for coaching, um, I up till now I didn't offer single sessions. However, I'm considering
Hmm.
because I actually came across something called laser coaching, and
Hmm.
by the end of this month, I'm hoping to be fully certified already, like hold the paper.
Right. What
And
is laser coaching?
laser coaching is well, basically it's coaching. It's There's a lady. She's well, probably you know her, Regan Hillier. She's from New Zealand. Um, she's an international speaker, and she actually created an empire. And
Hmm.
she's she doesn't call herself a shaman. However, when you look at her work and how she does things, she works energetically.
Yeah.
And when I went to this training with her uh, about laser coaching, uh, I noticed that it's actually, well, it's nothing new basically. It's coaching and it's energetical work. But uh, she combined it into a system where there are different tools that you can use, but you don't use them all at
Hmm.
once, of course. Uh, but she has some additional tools that I did not know before that help you actually run the session in even 20 minutes or less.
Oh wow, that is very quick. Yeah.
Yeah. And you literally, what happens to the person who's experiencing it is like after this 20 minutes, it's like, what just happened?
Right. Right.
But it works. It
Okay.
really works. Yeah.
And is it always like around one issue at a time that you
You
talk
need
in
to
one
you
session
need
like
to focus on one topic. If you want to make it in this 20 minutes, then it has to be one topic.
yeah. Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in that session you use on top of coaching, on top of asking good questions, you Uh,
There's energetical work in the background,
right.
and there's also one or two very short energetical process that you take the client through. Of
Hmm.
course, if they say yes to, because you
Yeah.
need to ask them.
Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to check into this laser coaching just to understand better what kind of energetic tools they use. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, so basically nowadays, like if a person wants to come to you, you offer like shamanic healing, coaching, soon laser coaching, and then you can still make the dolls, right?
Yeah. I mentioned that I organized the private ceremonies. And one of the options is to actually go for ceremony during which you create your own doll.
Ah,
And here is in this field, I also organize like a group events sometimes, and then then it's longer, and we also have additional mental work about manifestation and what do you believe about it, right?
right.
And yeah, but I also do it online sometimes. Like I even create a package of things that you might need to create your own doll. I send it to you, and then we
Cool.
meet online.
Ah, wow, that's really cool.
That
Yeah.
works as well. Um, yeah, so I either create the dolls that make your dreams come true, uh, or there's one other type of dolls that I like, and this is called doll of transition or transitional doll. And
Hmm.
this is actually like two dolls that are connected, and they are connected in a way that you can actually see one at a time because the other one is hidden in under the skirt of the
Right.
other one. And traditionally, it was created either by or for a bride, a young woman who was just about to get married, and it
Yeah.
was symbolizing the transition from the uh, well, children world and the youth and freedom, let's say,
Yeah.
to the stabilized adult life of
Being
uh,
married. Yeah.
and giving birth to children
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. We also have, like in Polish tradition, we have plenty of transitional stuff that we still do in some form during the weddings, right? But
Yeah.
long time ago, it was much more advanced. Let's say, like it was. We believed that the bride was kind of between the worlds, so she was in danger of being like taken by the ghosts or whatever, so you couldn't even touch her, like to keep her safe,
I
uh,
understand.
like that.
Interesting.
And the doll represented the transition. But let's say nowadays the marriage is not necessarily the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. So yeah, people sometimes ask for this kind of doll when they either set up a business or they give birth to children or yeah, mothers sometimes ask for a doll like that for their daughter who experienced her first period,
Right. Yeah.
which is actually very cool stuff, I think, to honor your daughter like that,
Yeah.
like to honor her in any way,
Mm.
to honor her period, like it
Yeah.
is
If
a
you
big thing
think
in
about a girl in that age, it's a huge rush of hormones that come in the
yeah,
body. It's very like the time is that you are not clear about anything. You don't know who you are, who don't know
yeah,
who you are becoming. Like it's a very chaotic time. So in that time, I think this kind of doll
yeah.
will be like an anchor to help you keep
Mm,
grounded, focused, and know that
yeah.
everything will turn out
Mm.
well. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I also made this kind of dolls with women who wanted to kind of honor themselves, like for mm, the transition they made, the development, to honor all the steps that they took to be in the place they are right now.
All
Like
right.
it's
Okay.
not some kind of end of the path. They are still developing and working on
Hmm.
themselves, but just to honor where they are right now. They felt the calling that, okay, I did so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, me.
Yeah.
Thank me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very very important to praise yourself once you
Yeah.
have done something very great and you have overcome a big situation. We should thank ourselves more. I think it would be
Yeah.
very very good for us. Yeah. So you can use the dolls for many things. That's actually very very great. Yeah. Perfect. So, what do you say? Like, what is your biggest branch of business at the moment? Is it like the shamanism or the dolls or the coaching, or are they equally divided at the moment?
It's actually all mixing. I have actually more long-term clients for the shamanic coaching.
Yeah,
And the shamanic events are like more random, or because I usually the shamanic things usually are like one-off.
yeah,
So uh, and the regular stuff are more connected to coaching. However, when I organize some kind of a program or a workshop, it's all mixed. So
yeah. Okay, but that's great. You have created your own style, your own soup from all the vegetables that you have collected in your life. That's great. That's great. So, what do you think is the greatest piece of advice that you could give your viewer today if they want to change their life?
mhm. Mm, one thing that I heard sometime at the beginning of my travel through the energy world,
Hmm.
and that I often come back to, is that there are no limits to this reality,
Yeah,
only those that you believe yourself. You decide yourself to believe in.
yeah,
It's
that's
always the
beautiful.
decision.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's so true because in our minds we put ourselves like cages. Like this is my cage, I cannot
Mhm.
go out of it. But once you jump out of it, you see that the cage gets just bigger. And every time you keep jumping out of the cage, your world just like grows enormously. And the possibilities you can actually do in this life are limitless. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I highly recommend this piece of advice for everyone. I think we all should keep on reading that and telling ourselves that We don't want to be animals in cages. All right. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Eva, this has been an amazing interview. Do you have anything else you would like to share? I will write to the comment section your webpage and how people can find
Mhm.
you. Is there anything else you would like to share before we say farewell to our viewers?
Well, just love yourself enough to let yourself thrive,
Yes,
okay? And
exactly.
let yourself try, at least try.
Yeah, you don't lose anything. Just go and try to take different healing sessions, try to get some coaching, try to open your mind, and if you need manifestation tools, I'm sure these dolls are a very good tool for it. In the end, you are going to do the work yourself. No one is going to do it for you, but sometimes putting it out there on a physical form is gonna help you to reach your goals. Can you say again what was the name of the dolls?
Oh, so the general name is Motanka,
Motanka. Mm.
because Motach is actually because the dolls are not sewed; they are just you take a thread and some piece of cloth, and you just put the
Yeah,
thread around it. So you Motach, that's
yeah,
what you do,
yeah.
and then you put the thread together.
Motachi.
So Motanka, that's the name of the
Motanka.
doll.
Motanka.
Motanka. Hmm.
Okay. So if you want to Google it, that's a good word to remember. And on your webpage, there is more information about it. Yes.
Yes, actually, there is a whole Facebook page of the times I wanted to focus on Motankas only,
Right.
and
So we will put
there are
that.
many pictures of those, and yeah.
Yeah. So if you are especially interested in the dolls, go to the Facebook page. I will attach it to this video. Great. Thank you very much. This was
Thank you.
amazing and heart opening and mind opening. And I wish you enjoyed it. And keep watching the channel. There will be even more interviews. Please subscribe and tell your friends about this channel. Maybe they are interested into meeting healers around the world also. So I thank you very much, Ewa. I thank you, viewers, and I hope you a wonderful day and much love. Yes. Bye bye.